Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading for August 2020. My name's Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and welcome to my channel, List of Essential Oils and Their Uses, and welcome to the Sun Goddess. The sun has come out to do the reading today, and we need the sun at the moment because we're going to need some real conscious thought to get through this month, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I'm going to do your reading using the Tongue of the Trees cards. These are essential oil oracle cards that I designed with my business partner, Gergle Halodi. And they're designed to bypass the conscious mind and talk to the unconscious mind. And so I've had a look at the astrology this month, and between you and I, it's pants. There's some really great stuff, but there's some hard stuff. And so if ever there was an opportunity to really start to understand how these essential oils can help, this is it. So I'm going to draw you 13 cards. And I'm going to do a reading called the Ring of the Trees spread, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. But first, let's show you your cards. Clary Sage, Tea Tree. And so I'm going to lay these out and then I'll turn the camera around so you can see properly. Ylang Ylang, that's the third time that's come out in that position. Cypress, Roman Chamomile, Nutmeg, Scots Pine, Orange. Everybody's getting orange this month. Petitgrain. Cedarwood Virginian. That's another one that's coming out every month. That is number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Mandarin. Number 13. Turmeric. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this reading was, as I say, originally designed for me to use on people who had pain. I am a clinical aromatherapist with nearly 30 years experience, and I'm a medical astrologer, but I'm also a pain practitioner, and I teach other aromatherapists how to treat chronic pain. So usually when somebody comes to see us, they will have been in pain for a long time, and they will have gone right through the doctor's systems. So probably had MRIs, probably had x-rays, lots of analgesics, nothing. And the doctor says, I don't know. And the doctor will be the first person to tell you they struggle to know the answers with chronic pain. And they'll say, I just think it must be stress. And the patient goes, are you having a laugh? This isn't stress, this really hurts. And they're right, it does really hurt. But also the doctor's right that there is an emotional component. The difficulty is if we just treat them with lavender and chamomile, those soothing oils, we're not treating them any differently to how the doctor did, giving them analgesics. So I wanted to find a way to use these to tap into that and be able to say, right, okay, what if we talk then to the issues in the tissues and say, speak, where do you hurt most? Let me talk to that bit first. And these are tremendous for doing that. And this 13 card layout, we read anti-clockwise. We dishing. But if you read it clockwise, then what we see is over the period we see it growing. So we see the month extending outwards, and just the same way as the tree develops, we see you developing, and we see your journey playing out. Now, if we overlay that with the astrology, then we can see how the planets are going to affect you to make you make changes. So this is a tremendous way of being prepared for what's coming ahead, but also to exploit the opportunities that are available to you. And there are lots of opportunities. this is very much a month of two halves. So the great stuff is that the eclipse season is over. As a Cancerian, it's been on a Cancer Capricorn axis. I can say goodbye and good riddance. I've had enough. I'm exhausted. But also, then we had Mercury retrograde and we have Venus retrograde. So both of those are going direct. So we can sign contracts, we can buy electrical equipment, and we can put gold headdresses on and have our hair cut. We can have our hair cut. It's too exciting. But we also have some bad stuff. And while they're starting to go direct, soon Mars will start to go retrograde. And astrology is all about angles, you know, the way that things interact across the galaxy to each other in angles. And Mars is going to create two very jarring aspects this month. The first is the black moon. What's the black moon? I'll tell you when I turn the screen round. It's very exciting. I do like black moon. But also, it's going to come into contact with all of these planets that have been playing out all of this stuff in your 12th house. And you should be used to this by now. So on a global scale, we're starting to understand that Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde and Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn equals coronavirus and lockdown. And I'm not looking forward to Jupiter going direct, because potentially that means second wave. We will see. But we know about the restrictions, this fear, this lockdown, but also this global humankind lesson that we're all going through together. It's always been more difficult to be able to feel that it would affect everybody in the same way, but here we can feel it. Mars is going to get involved in that, and this is in your 12th house of unseen things, you know, so this is interesting stuff. And for some people it's going to be volatile stuff and explosive stuff and dangerous stuff. So there's no better time to be absolutely mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally prepared for what's going to come ahead. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you your cards, and I'll tell you a little bit about what they're saying. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading. So just before we start, I must tell you that next door having an extension built, so there is lots of sawing and drilling and knocking. So if you can hear that as this reading goes through, I apologise. So let's just show you how the reading evolves, because of course we are following the ring of the trees and how it grows through time, and indeed how you grow through the month. So we start here. This is where we come in. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Don't worry if you can't see the bottom cards, you'll see them all as we come through. So what we usually see is number 12 and number 1 relate to each other, where we are now. Don't know why that is, but it's usually the case. So this is a nice happy place where you come in, you know, you feel nice and happy and playful. I love the energy of Mandarin because it's very dignified. I always say it's like something that my mum used to say when we were little, that Mandarin was like having tea at Raffles in Singapore. Everybody looks beautiful in their white clothes, got lovely hats, the hair's pristine. Everyone's chatting. It's nice and airy and light and very dignified and polite, you know. So this is a nice way to come into the month. And clairvoyance. Now this is an interesting card because it can be read in so many different ways. So let's quickly look at your astrology, because I think then it really helps us to understand what's going on with you. So you have got so much going on in your 12th house at the moment, and have had for a long time now. So Capricorn went in last month as Saturn went into Capricorn last month, as did Jupiter, as did Pluto. And your 12th house is unseen things. So I always say that when the fast moving planets like Venus and Mercury go retrograde, then they have vast impacts on our lives. But the slow moving planets like the outer planets don't so much. In fact, they move so slowly that really we spend about half of the month with them, half of the year with them in retrograde. But if you imagine Saturn in Capricorn, he loves Capricorn. They're really the same, you know, Saturn rules Capricorn. Very austere, very dry. It's like the headmaster. He's interested in hard work and restriction. So he's really happy in Capricorn. But imagine that he's been in your classroom for several months and now he's gone out to do a cover meeting and you've got the supply teacher. What's it feel like? Oh, it's just delightful, you know? So that's that feeling of, right, oh, you know what, I feel like I'm just having a bit of an easy time now. I'm still doing the work, but it's easy. I turned up at school, my mates are here, and yeah, this is nice, right? But the 12th house is unseen things. It's things that have no form. So things like metaphysics. Metaphysics comes up through your reading right the way through this month. That it might be tarot card readings or astrology readings, or philosophy is more the 9th house, but that feeling of, right, wanting to understand, to feeling like there is more going on than meets the eye, you know, and really wanting to get into that. And by using Clary Sage, look at that beauty, you couldn't get a better oil to help you really get into that stuff of understanding, oh, just the beauty of it. Aromatherapy is a great example of 12th house stuff. It's ruled by it's a science and an art. So the art side of things have been able to just breathe and feel it taking you to a different place, and understanding just all the nuances when you blend the oils, how differently they feel, how differently they smell, the effects that it has, all that just getting into it, not really being able to explain what's gorgeous about it, but it just is, you know. That's 12th house medicine, and you are right in the middle of it, and you are so enjoying the juiciness of it all, getting into it and really thinking, I mean, I don't know, have you gone back to work? It feels like you've got time on your hands, is what it feels like, to just kind of go, well, walk around the garden and smell the roses and really get to, oh yeah, I can feel the goddess in that rose, you know. Yeah, oh, I really understand what the Egyptians were talking about, and I feel the connections. It's all there. And then you feel like you're getting truths come through, I think. You know, tea tree is such an interesting oil from the point of view that everybody knows it from a physical point of view. But part of its medicine of being very good at being able to heal things like coughs and colds is it helps you to understand, oh yeah, I was a bit run down because this, and probably shouldn't have been doing that, and maybe I'll stop doing that, you know. But in this reading, it's saying I kind of feel the connections, and I really get something here that perhaps nobody else has seen. Why has nobody else seen this? You have got so many lovely connections here. Later on in the month, Mercury and the Sun will go into your 8th house. And that's metaphysics, you know. That's about learning stuff and going, I really want to understand that more, you know. When I had lots of stuff going on in my 8th house last year, I became fascinated with beekeeping. It was all part of this writing the book about the Melissa and the Melissae, and how they worked with the bees and how they used them for shamanical stuff and magical stuff. And if you'd have tried to say it out loud to somebody else, they would have thought you were absolutely bonkers. And that's very much Clary Sage medicine. It's mercurial. It belongs in the mind. It all moves like great big clouds. The ideas merge and they shift. But the second that you try to talk to somebody about it, to explain it, it becomes more concrete and less fluid and more difficult to describe. But in the 12th house, it's all happening so beautifully, so organically in your mind, and you're starting to see these connections. And how do you feel about it? Utter delight. It's like you're riding the wave of Venus. You feel so just like love is consuming your whole body, you know. You feel like you're on fire with the passion of it all. This beautiful flow and it's gorgeous. I wish this was me. I wish this was me. And then this is an interesting card to come here, right? Because this Cyprus is ruled on the Pisces Aries cusp. Pisces is the old life, the old part of the zodiac, and then Aries is the toddler, the new, and we're sitting on the cusp. In this reading, it feels like initiation, that you are leveling up. And the thing about initiation is, once you've gone through that gateway, once you've gone through that portal, there is no going back. I want you to go back after you've listened to the reading and go right back to the beginning, where I have this beautiful quote by Dale Pendle, and he talks about sun medicine and moon medicine. So, you know, you are inhabiting the place, the realm of the underworld in this month. And remember that the underworld is not a Catholic construct. It's not hell. It predates that by a long, long way. The underworld, where the moon doctor inhabits and rides his dragon, is the unconscious mind. And the things that you learn, the things that are given to you, you don't get better. You know, it's like Clary Sage opens a gateway for all of this information to come in. But it's got to be a sun doctor decision to do it. I am consciously going to do the work to get these to happen. For most people in the zodiac, they have a very harsh alignment between Mars and what's going on in the what's in Capricorn, which is your 12th house at the moment, but also with the black moon. But I don't feel it's negative at all for you. This almost, I think this here, this one probably represents the black moon. So let's talk about what the black moon is first of all. So what's important to know is it's not a real thing. It's a construct that exists in your chart, and many things can cause a black moon. In the context of this reading this month, it's that there are 4 new moons in a season. So if you think back to June, we had a solar eclipse, didn't we, right at the beginning of the month, and then there was another new moon at, I think, 28 degrees of Cancer. So June had 2 new moons. So what that means is we're used to the rhythm of how things go, and no, it feels wrong. It jars, you know. And with a new moon, we get triggers, we get explosions, we get urges, things that we're not proud of. But I think in the context of your reading, when Mars comes into collaboration, in a harsh aspect, I have to say, but it feels like a collaboration in your reading, then because we're using the Mars energy, we're being active about finding things out, whether that be, you know, we think of meditation as a passive thing, as a yin thing, but actually the decision to go and sit down and concentrate and be open, that is a conscious action. That is a Mars thing to do. That moment of sitting down on your mat and saying, don't ring me, don't come out and see me. If you want something to eat, get it yourself. Don't disturb me. That is Mars action. And when you take that action this month, I really think that we have this beautiful reignition of, wow, just stuff. Everything's coming through to you. And I think you're going to have these lovely, like I say, it's like you smell the rose and you go, I really get it. How has nobody got this before? And you make these amazing connections. You know, 12th house, it's almost like you join the dots in the sky. It's just beautiful. But this all sounds very airy-fairy, but I think the fact that right at the beginning of the month, we have a full moon in Aquarius, which is your first house. So usually, like when the sun goes into your first house, we make decisions, we have birthday wishes. But I think the moon turns the tide and it says, right, what do you want? What do you need? What needs to change? And in the first house, it could mean anything. It could mean anything that relates to you. Does your job need to change? Does your relationship need to change? Does your health, do you need to do something in your health? Is it money? And I think as you're making these concentrated efforts, something will just go, oh, yes, obviously that's what needs to change, and that's how I can do it. But the fact that Mars is in the 3rd house, well, that's communications. And remember how I said Mercury made it difficult to be able to communicate? As the month starts to go, then it starts to become more easy to communicate what's going on. So let's just read from here. That's completely Libra kind of medicine, you know, that they're always thinking about everybody else, that they're very generous. And I think what we see here is you start to understand, oh, this could help loads of other people. You know, I know this was so easy for me now. Why have I not thought about this? Right, I could do this. So maybe it becomes a job, for example. Or maybe you think, right, I can be of service to somebody because, let me think. Venus is in your 7th house. Venus is in your 6th house. It goes on in the 7th of the month. And that is everyday stuff, but feeling really enjoying everyday stuff. On my notes, I've written, it's kind of got the Melissa energy of the priestess. So what that means is the priestess, the Melissa, and back to my bees again. The Melissa was the priestess who opened the gateway to speak to the goddess. And she was a woman that was married with children, but this was her service. And every day she was in charge of the key to the temple. She would clean up the temple. She would make sure all the garments on the goddess looked beautiful, that the fires were well tended, that there was enough oil and drinks for the libations. And it was just very basic stuff, but it was sacred, you know. Her relationship with the goddess relied on that being done beautifully, but the whole polis, the whole society at large depended on her doing it with love, with compassion, as a vocation. And that is absolutely Venus in Cancer kind of energy. So I think that you're going to start to feel, well, yeah, I'm going to do this because I really think that there's a lot to be given to other people. And, you know, that is a beautiful Leo card. The sun's out, exuberant, feeling like you just have the sun shining on you. It feels absolutely delicious. Look at all the fruit. Look at all the fruit you've got. There. Just lovely. Just feels really like you feel like you have abundance around you. It's summertime energy, to be honest. It's August energy. But here, this is Mars energy. This says you have to do it deliberately. You know, on the days you don't want to get up, when you're too tired, you still have to put in at least half an hour of whatever it is, because you are really triggering something beautiful from what you're doing. And what do we follow it with? The same. You have to be determined. Now you understand why it's important. And I feel that by the time you get here, you have to understand its importance and hold on to it. And know that nobody else probably gets it, because this was for you. This feels entirely like the universe has waited to your 12th house, till the moments that you're going in there, and just gave it to you. So usually down this side we have lovely calming energy for when things get tense, because I always think when we are going on this vocation and we are moving forward and we're saying, right, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do the other, we may feel clashes with people around us, you know, where it becomes tense. And if that happens, then we need to know that we are supported, and nature supports us. So if it's nature, it's Mother Earth, and if it's Mother Earth, it's the goddess, you know. And there is no more motherly energy than that feeling of being rocked with lavender, you know. We rock our babies in it from the second that we smell lavender. We recognise it belongs to the mother. And indeed, the crone, what does it remind us of? It reminds us of our grandmother. It's all of those things you have inherited down your line have come to fruition now, and the elders are standing with you. So even if you are alone, physically alone in the garden meditating or wherever you are, know that nature stands by you, the goddess stands by you, all of women went before you, stand behind you, and I'm being told again the Melissa are with you. Strange how it doesn't turn up anywhere in the reading, the Melissa, but definitely the Melissa are with you this month, which is lovely. If you want to know more about the Melissa, I'm writing about the Melissa, and I'm going to be Melissa next month, so you can come and see what on earth I make of somebody who interacts with bees. Let's just say I haven't even started that yet. But that's funny to go from that energy there straight into Mandarin, because it is playful, it's dignified. Remember how you came in this reading? Right round. You are just very dignified. And actually, then I'll go back to the priestess again. The Melissa were elected women based on what people thought they could bring to the community, that they were pure and they were holy, and that they were sacred, but they were very good at just being very good mediators and political wranglers. Because even though they were the prophetesses, the whole of the politics turned to those people for advice. So you see how it's the same card, but we've come to a different conclusion here. If you follow that through, you are just going to get beautifully calm and really start to be respected. The people are going to go, yeah, she's talking sense, you know. She is really talking sense. Now, I have no turmeric oil. This is the only oil that I haven't got in this set, and I must get some because I'm dying to know what these different blends smell like together. And I don't know what turmeric and mandarin will smell like, but I have to go and get a turmeric powder out to experiment. But I think that is just going to be beautiful, that you kind of, I feel like you you are where you're supposed to be. And my goodness, thank goodness for that. It's almost like, have you been feeling like you've been trying to work out where you're supposed to be, what your purpose in life is, and you've probably been doing a job that has felt like it's been very fulfilling, but just not, that it's not it, you know, not quite been on the pathway. Normally that would be a black pepper card. That hasn't come up, but I feel like finally you go, oh my goodness, I'm in the flow. I'm not fighting anything. This is flowing exactly right. And I feel so wholesome and pure. It's lovely. It's really lovely. I'm very envious. So I'm going to put you some blends together. I'm going to go and find the spice cupboard and try and manufacture that, and then order some turmeric. But yeah, I can't even see in most people's blends, I've been able to see that you might get ill or something like that. The only thing I think is maybe your hormones might be a bit tense, to be honest. But I just don't see anything particularly bad there. I just see this beautiful journey into spirit starting to take place for you. Leave me some comments. Leave me some comments. So hopefully you found that interesting and helpful. If you would like to get your own Tongue of the Trees box of cards, obviously I'd love you to do that. It pays for my work here. I'm going to put a link to my website below, and you'll be able to see where to be able to get those from. And also, if you want to go more deeper into the reading and start to understand the medical astrology and the elements, the Ayurvedic and the traditional Chinese medicine, as well as the chakras and the blending, you might also want to buy the knowledge base that goes with it. The knowledge base is a digital platform. It's like an online set of videos where I talk you through absolutely every aspect of the different essential oils. So there's around about 40 videos. It's a separate purchase, but obviously it's an immediate download if you want to be able to access that. So thank you. If you also want to have your own reading, please do check out my website, thesecrethealer.co.uk, and book yourself an hour-long consultation, and I will do you your own reading. for the meantime, I'm going to say goodbye. Say goodbye to the sun goddess, because next month it will be the Melissa, the goddess, the priestess that officiated at Demeter Cor's festival of the autumn in ancient Greece, the mysteries of Eleusis. See you in Melissa land.
Comments, and if you want to, you can send a comment and say like hi's to Mum and Dad, like, and then the link to the next video will be in the description below underneath the video. So bye.